And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Corsairs of Valeria. Now, if the word Valeria seems common to you, or you may have heard it before, that's because this is in a series of games. We have Quests of Valeria and Villages of Valeria, and there's Kingdoms of Valeria. Fortunately, they now put Corsairs really big, because these games really, other than the theme that they're in some fantasy type land, other than that theme, they're really nothing alike. This is a dice rolling game, think kind of like Yahtzee, where you're rolling dice and you get to re-roll them, trying to get silver that you can then turn into treasure. Here's how it plays. In this game, players are going to build a racetrack with a start and an end tile, and there are 4 of these tiles, and you'll just flip them randomly and build a track between so that you have kind of a racetrack to get to the volcano island. You're going to put 2 silver on the island itself. Players will start with 2 silver. Players will also start with a ship card where they'll keep track of their treasure and grog. Treasure is how you win the game. Players will also get a captain card, which gives you a special ability. On your turn, you're going to roll the dice here, and then if you want to, after you're done rolling the dice, you can spend a grog to re-roll any or all the dice that you want to, and you can do that multiple times. Once you're done with that, you're going to focus on what the dice do. First, skulls. Skulls are bad. If for each skull that you get, you're going to lose silver. If you have, some of the skulls are skull and grog, but for each skull that you have, you take a silver that you have that's on your shipboard here, and you'll place it on the volcano island at the end. Each skull that shows a grog also gives you a grog, and then there's also the side that shows you a grog. For each silver you roll, you're going to get a silver coin. For each map you have, you're going to move one here. As you move on this track, when you pass different things, like for example, when you pass this line here, you're going to get a silver coin. If I pass this line on this island here, I'm going to get a grog. Cannons are going to let you attack ships, so if I'm in this spot here and I shoot cannons, for each cannon I'm going to get a silver coin. Some places will give you different things depending on what you happen to be shooting at. 3 cannons let you steal all the silver from any other player. More than 3 cannons will move the other player back 1 space as you shoot at them. That's pretty much it for what you can do. There's some you'll notice on the islands here as you move up. You can go different ways. This one will give you definite stuff here, though you can shoot these ships and get their things. There are some special event things that will happen here. If you land here, on the end of your turn, you go back to the start. There's a kraken and pirates that you might have to deal with. When someone gets to the end here, they get all the silver. Everyone's reset, and we start again. If someone gets there twice, then the game's over and whoever's most treasure wins. However, if someone gets 7 treasure first, you win the game. At any time when you get 5 silver, you'll be able to turn that in and immediately take a treasure. So once you get 6, well, 7 is for if you want to play longer. 6 treasures, you win the game. Players also, when they do hit the volcano island, you do flip over all these tiles, so it's a little bit different this second race. And finally, the third thing is, if you roll 5 of the same thing, it could be better for you. For example, if you roll 5 skulls, you can give those dice to the other players, and they have to deal with them rather than you. You roll 5 rum, you're going to get to take an extra turn, and so on and so forth. So rolling 5 of a kind is not a bad thing. That's pretty much it. Someone's going to win either by getting 6 treasures or by having the most treasures after someone's got to the island twice. As always, the artwork in these games is stupendous. I really like these captain cards here. It's Captain King Lucky Jackson. If you rolled no maps, move 1 space forward and gain some rum. It also tells you when to use it. They have letters here which show you during which phase to use it. And then they got, Captain Hook in here, and Mr. Bones, and then the Captain Prince of Bel-Air, who was born and raised. Anyway, here you can spend money to re-roll dice instead of rum. So each of them has special abilities. I'm not sure they're completely balanced, but I don't think it really matters. The little boards here are pretty easy to understand. These are nice, although you're supposed to let them sit on the table while you spin them. They spin a little easier than I would prefer. I'd rather, because you're keeping track of stuff on them. This one only goes to 4 because you can only have 4 rum, and you can spin it either way, so there's that. It's a small game in a small box. It works. This game wasn't made for me. This is a light, really light style game that can work, I almost want to say, with kids. Might be a little too mean for kids with the attacking each other and such, but it's really light. This is the kind of game that I would expect to see at a mass market store like Target or such. Corsairs is you roll the dice, you see what you've rolled. If you roll a lot of something, then you might want to spend a rum to re-roll and get more of it. You decide on the map. How far will you move? Will you move using the maps? Do you want to do them? The skulls, how much silver will you lose? At the end of the day, you're not making a lot of strategic choices in this game. By not making a lot, you're making very few, if any. Because once you run out of rum, you roll the dice, and that's what you got. If you do have rum, you're basically deciding which dice to roll, and then again, once you re-roll them, that's what you've got. So these special powers help a little bit. They make it fun, and if you go into it realizing that it's a really, really light game, it will be a pleasant affair. I'm not sure that this adds anything new to this genre at all, both theming and mechanics-wise. It's just roll dice, possibly re-roll, move down a track. And I think the racing could have been more interesting. The map is only on 1/6 of the die, so there's just kind of a short sprint towards this volcano island. Like I said, I'm not convinced the special abilities are completely balanced. Some of them feel a little better than others. But again, I digress. I don't think this game was made necessarily for gamers in mind, unless those gamers want a very light break. And even if they do, I think they'll want to pick something that maybe still gives them some more decisive things that they can do. Here, this is the kind of game that I might give Bobby as a gift for his 13th birthday, or Susan and Sally, at their party, or bring it over with a bunch of people who are like, I need something to play at the restaurant table while we're waiting for the food. I can see this working in there. I didn't dislike the game. It was fine. It just kind of went around a table and you play and you go. And I might forget about it in a year or two. So it's pleasant, but I don't know if there's enough there. I don't mind that whole push your luck aspect sometimes that games have, and this game feels like it could have that, and then dances around it and doesn't do much more than that. So again, I realize that there's probably a very specific audience for this game, and I'm sure that they will enjoy it. For me, and then I move on to the next game. Dice Tower Judgment, pleasant, casual fun.